When it comes to qualitative research, everyone always talks about coding, codes, categories, and themes. But what does this actually mean? This video will give you an introduction into coding qualitative data and help you understand these terms. I will show you the basic principles of coding qualitative data, what a code or category is, how to derive your first codes from qualitative data, and the different types of coding that exist. After watching this video, you will be well prepared for your own qualitative research project. You can directly dive into qualitative content analysis, grounded theory, or any other qualitative method. And now, without further ado, welcome to Shribe. Part 1. What is coding? Coding refers to the process of assigning conceptual labels to data. It primarily applies to qualitative data, such as text, images, video, or audio. For the sake of simplicity, let's assume in this video that your data was collected through interviews and now exists in the form of interview transcripts. When you assign a specific label to a specific set of data, you begin to analyze that data. A set of data could be, for example, a response to an interview question or even a random individual line in your transcript. Now, why is coding useful? It can help you to summarize larger amounts of data. For example, imagine you conducted 20 interviews, resulting in a total of about 200 pages or so of transcripts. How can you compress the contents of this data into a single results section of a scientific paper? That's right, by summarizing it. In this case, various coding techniques offer a tool to do this systematically and comprehensively. However, coding not only allows you to summarize data, but also to structure it. Structure can mean that your data is assigned to specific categories. These categories give meaning to the data. You'll learn more about this in the second part of the video. Coding in qualitative research can go much further than summarizing and structuring data. Coding is actually one of the most important tools for developing new theory. This brings us to the realm of grounded theory. You can find more info on that in other tutorials of mine. In addition to those videos, I recommend also watching the video on what is a theory. In summary, grounded theory is a methodology, not just a method. This means that you can combine different qualitative coding techniques to reach your goal, new theory. This new theory consists of constructs and their relationships to each other. The necessary intermediate step to reach these components from qualitative data is coding. The specific coding techniques employed and how they are combined depend on the recommendations or authors chosen for your own grounded theory study. Over the course of such a study, determining the relationships between constructs that came out of your initial codes becomes important. Here, some coding techniques are not only limited to transforming codes into concepts and constructs, but also explaining a relationship or a process. You can find more information on this in other tutorials, for example, on what is referred to as axial coding. Part 2. What is a code and what is a category? Simply put, a code is just a label we assign to a specific part of our data. A category is more like a bucket in which you collect the codes that fit together. But let's look at codes a little bit more. In general, there's a distinction between descriptive and analytical codes. Descriptive codes can, for example, adopt certain things such as signal words from the data. In this case, we use the language that appears in the data itself. However, in most cases, it is better to move away from that quickly and choose your own words for the codes. Analytical codes go beyond mere description and offer an interpretation of the data. This is ultimately what we aim for in almost every qualitative method. The codes can have different levels of abstraction. The lower the level of abstraction, the more descriptive the code. The higher the level of abstraction, the more analytical the code. These different levels of abstraction contribute to creating a kind of hierarchy between the codes. This can also be referred to as a category system or a data structure. A category system could consist of a handful of main categories and about 2 or 3 times as many subcategories. A data structure usually consists of codes that are promoted to first-order themes, then second-order themes, and finally aggregate dimensions. Themes and dimensions are just some more fancy words for more developed and abstracted codes. As you can see, the terminology for certain codes and their structures can vary depending on the method and authors. Always adopt the terminology from the methodological guide you are working with. Part 3. An example from an interview transcript. Let's take a look at a simple example for the most basic form of coding, which is open coding. For a study, I conducted interviews with companies that organize themselves remotely since their inception. Here is a response from an expert from an interview transcript. The process usually looks like this. 3 people who are specifically interested in an idea make a proposal, and then it is informally voted on in Slack or during a meeting whether the proposal is good or not. And it was the same with the rules. 3 people who already had experience with such rules from other contexts worked it out in a Google document. And then it ended up in Slack. Different people added comments to the Google Doc about what they thought of each sentence. This went back and forth for about a week. And in the end, there was a draft that everyone liked, and that was it. With open coding, I can now assign a code to each line or sentence. I would, for example, assign the code forming an interest group to the sentence. The process usually looks like this. 3 people who are specifically interested in an idea. And the section, and in the end, there was a draft that everyone liked, and that was it, could be given the code collective satisfaction. These 2 codes are at a very low level of abstraction because they are assigned to only one sentence or line each. They are also very descriptive and merely describe what was said. To arrive at a more analytical code, we can now summarize or interpret the codes that we assigned to each line. For the given response, this could lead to the code consensus building. This code interprets the data and summarizes in 1 word or 2 what the response was essentially about. However, an analytical code does not necessarily have to consist of only 1 or 2 words. It can be a bit longer. Now, before we get to part 4 of this tutorial, please consider to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this type of content. Thanks. Part 4. What are different types of coding in qualitative research? The example we have looked at is typical for methods that follow an inductive logic. This type of coding is primarily used in thematic analysis and, of course, grounded theory. The process of inductive theory development is bottom-up, meaning that it goes from the data to the codes. In addition, there's also the deductive application of codes. This is characteristic of structured content analysis or quantitative content analysis techniques. Here, you establish a category system from existing theory or literature into which you simply sort your data. The process of deductive coding is top-down, meaning it goes from theory to the data. However, there's often a gray area between the two. For simplicity, I will call this abductive category development or theory development. This means that the process of coding happens in a continuous interplay between theory and data. Abduction can encompass more than that, but for now you don't need to remember more. Some approaches in grounded theory embrace this in their recommendations. Just be careful not to mix too many different recommendations from different authors. And lastly, there is thematic coding, as described by Brown and Clark. The difference from the other types of coding is that broader codes, meaning themes, are used to interpret a bit larger chunks of data. Thematic analysis is less incremental than most of the other techniques.